Alright, so we're back here with the Fairmont. We're going to be focusing on the rear end. Car comes stock with a 7.5 drum brake rear end, and we're going to tear that garbage out of there because we have a GT 8.8 sitting over there that we're going to build. More parts accumulating in the junk pile. And here's a SN95 rear end here. This is the rear end I'm going to build, and these are all the parts I'm going to use. So basically this 8.8 here come out of a 96 GT Mustang SN95. The important thing to know is that the SN95 housings from end to end are the same length as the FOXBODY ones. They add the extra, I don't know, it's like half an inch or a little bit more, half an inch of axle shaft length, or 3/4 of an inch on either side. So the axle is 1.5 inches wide, wider than what should be on a FOXBODY. So pretty much this rear end, because it's a GT, it comes with the track lock. I have the spider pin and the gears out of it, but it has the clutch packs. And I was going to use the 28 spline stuff, but I went ahead and got this 31 spline carrier from an Explorer. And the difference from what I hear is that this bore is a little bit bigger on the 31s, or else I would have just swapped the spider gears into my carrier. This axle shaft length is the Fox axle shaft length, or Mosers, and they're 0.65 knurl, and they're 31 spline. They cost the same as the 28 spline axles. So I figured, you know, it's kind of stupid to go 28 when you could just be 31. So got brakes, studs, and then these adjustable control arms, and we're going to just slam it all together, put the carrier in, and slide the axles in and see how it looks. I did go ahead and take all the brackets off everything, so the rear end's pretty bare right now. Cleaned it up. I'm going to weld the tubes to the pumpkin here, and then clean the outside and then paint it, make myself feel better, make it look a little bit better. Then we're going to start assembling it. One thing I'm going to do here before I paint the axle is cut these caliper brackets. I'm going to cut the bottom out so the tube can slide up in there. Usually they sit on the outside. I'm going to cut them so they can switch over and fall down on the axle tube on the inside. That's going to be because the new edge axles, like I said, they poke out 3/4 of an inch on either side. That's what it takes to move it over to the inside, so that when you put the shorter axle shafts in, the caliper still lines up on the rotor right. So I got all this junk tore apart. Just a little tech for you. I thought that the carriers were almost starting to be the same, but this bore is the same, so the axle will slide in, but the notch for the clutch packs is at a different point. This one goes up and a lot higher, a lot closer to the bearing than this one. This one keeps the gears together more, and this one spreads the gears out, so you can't switch the gears over to the different carrier. And the pin bore is different. That one's smaller than the bigger 31 spline one, and the obviously the gears will be different. These are 28s, those are 31s. These are the 28s, and these are the 31s here. The clutch packs, they'll change over, no problem, but the carriers are different a little bit, not in what you'd think, I guess, but they are different. We're going to swap the ring gear over and try and put these stupid S-springs back in there. Alright, so we have this all together. I put the spider gears and the S-clip in there. That's pretty easy if you have some needle nose vice grips. Just squash it and then hammer it in with a dead blow. I tried all the shims I have, and this is what I come up with. Roughly 8,000. 8,000's backlash, and the spec is 8 to 12 from my understanding, so I guess we're pretty much right there. It's not like right on the money, but it's within spec, so it's good enough for me. It has backlash, that's the most important part. It has backlash, so we're gonna run that. I'm gonna stick the axle shafts in and see how the calipers look on here. So the differential is all said and done. I did get the caliper brackets all cut and they slide down on there. Reinstalled, all painted up obviously. I tried to put the wheel studs into the axles and I have the wrong size ones, so I ordered some from Summit. And when those get here, I'll put the axles in, but for now I'll just put the rear end in the car. We'll do the axles later. I can still get some work done by putting it in the car and not doing it later, so we'll go ahead and do that. That's a little bit better. So got the pads and rotors on here. Got the studs into the axles and the axles into there, sealed up the cover and all that good stuff. Need to put fluid in there. Need to run the brake lines up to the car, but other than that, rear end's pretty much done. Need to get some spacers or washers cut out in between the bolt mounting bracket and this to space it out to make this a little bit more mint. I mean, it's pretty close right now, but there's no spacers in there. It's not tight, so we're gonna get some spacers or something just to shim it out, I guess, and make that perfect. And then the rear end will be done, and then we'll move on to the front end. But a pretty simple rear end build, pretty much completed. Stock spring, rear end height, all the weights on it, and yeah, looks pretty good. So pretty much the rear end's all wrapped up. Need to bend all the brake lines and stuff like that, do the master cylinder, but I'll do all that stuff at once, obviously. But I figured while we're here, I'll show you. I got the motor in there just for mock-up purposes. That'll be for another video though. Building a transmission cross member, but I'm going to get the tires wrapped on these wheels, get some steering in the car, and get the brakes finalized and whatnot. Pull the motor back out, and we'll start messing with the motor and doing that stuff and try and get it running. So thanks for watching the video, guys, and look out for some more.